How you doing, family? Okay, we're gonna pick right up on continue to talk about that the relationship and the most important element of the Holy Trinity, which is the human being team, uh, 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 cooperative. It's a two-part system: the human flesh and the being, the microcosmic part of it, which is the microcosmic being. Okay, uh, that should be here on this side. Okay, uh, and on this side over here, we're going to talk about that the cycle of manifestation. The two things I'm gonna cover in this video. But before I get going, I want to take about a good 20 minutes, quite a bit of time, on kind of reinforcing this whole concept of the anatomy and the laws that govern. And this is Charles Hennell's book. I'm gonna have to, put it up close for a few seconds because the light is killing everything about it. All right, this is Charles Hennell's book called The Master Key System. Okay, and you can get this book on Amazon. All right, but this is what I'm going to be reading from, excerpts from that book. Okay, and I want you to, get a more reinforced concept of going back to how far this is coming from a guy who Charles Hennell, from what I remember reading here. This system is from, my God, this book was published. It was republished in 2007. The original publishing of this book, it goes all the way back to like 19 something. It's ridiculous. But what I wanted to point out to you in reading from him is that to show you how he had actually tapped into the Rosicrucians, which is what I originally said before I even had recapped what the Rosicrucians had taught. But I remember one thing distinctly from the Rosicrucians, that the very first time I even heard the word was they talked about the different types of reasoning to show you. And another element I want to bring out here is that what I'm doing is actually bridging the gap between religion and science. And this is one thing about religion that I really don't like, is that they have tried to disconnect. And anytime you start segregating and totally leaving out a whole half of something, you're not being honest. And to do that intentionally is another ploy. Anytime somebody is dividing and telling you we're separate from them, okay, and that they're not a part of the whole, not like what I'm talking about when I talk to you about those things, that thing in the White House. Yeah, he's a them, but I never told you that he's not a part of the whole thing. He said, like I said, I don't want to wipe them out, because they're a part of God. Can't wipe them out. It messes up the balance, you see. But when they try to just tell you about them and don't remind you that, don't get me wrong, they're still a part of the family. I'm just, they just, these are the bad ones, the ones who just, they're the resistance, the ones that are just trying to keep us apart. That's like what the flesh is. That's that duality. See, that's what I'm telling you. That duality is everywhere. The duality is everywhere, and it's big time here in the darken this down. It's a little too bright. Okay, I want to darken this down just a wee touch. And this thing is just way too bright for my taste. I'm adjusting the camera here, folks. Okay, all right, let's get back into the main part here. Okay. Anyway, so and I don't. Anytime somebody's telling you them and us and they're going the sinners and all this stuff, like they're distinct from them from us. Like they're the sinners over there. They're the sinners. Uh, there's no divide and conquer. It ain't gonna work here, folks. That won't work. And I'm telling you, be very wary of somebody that tells you it's us and them, the divide and conquer tactic. Be very wary of that. Okay, be very wary of that. Okay, so now what I want to read from you here is some extracts from Charles Hannell, where he is talking about. I did a whole extract from quite a few people here, but mostly Charles Hannell. Okay, I'm really focusing on him, and I just want to briefly talk about how he kind of uses a lot of the teachings of the Rosicrucians. You can see clearly that he's been a student of the Rosicrucian uh, training. Okay, because on page 910 of that book, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of things and make a little comment at the end of them. Hannell talks about in his book, The Master Key System. It is mind which overcomes environment and every other obstacle in the path of people. Now, he said men, because back when he wrote this, it was probably 19. Let me see. He was born in 80 something. I think he was, it's probably like 1918 or 1901, somewhere between 1901 and 1918. He wrote this stuff, but he's a very successful person. All right. But so when he's talking, he makes a lot of these comments that are masculine reference. Okay. Because that's the time he was in. Okay. And another thing, before I go get too deep into that, I want to bring this point up too. And I'm going to try to bring this up at the beginning of every lecture from here going forward. I want you to remember that we are still in the evolutionary process. And I would say in human, as far as the human intellectual side and sophisticated side of human development, we're still in the early phases of that. We finally come out of the barbaric phase as of the introduction of human rights and civil rights. That's the first time that human beings on this entire planet have given themselves recognition of basic rights as a human being. That has never happened before. That did not exist in the 19th century. There was no such thing as human rights. You gotta put your head around that to show you where we are, how green and how young we are as a sophisticated society. Man's inhumanity to man. We are just we're not there yet, folks. I don't. We got there's like, again, there's this duality. Okay, and right now we're evolving. It's like this. Okay, we're going up, and we're here, but part of us is still here. Many of us are here, but there's a whole bunch of us that are still way down here. Like, you go over to and I'm not picking on Islam, but the way you treat your women tells me exactly where you are on this scale. If your woman has you dictating how she has to cover up, and because you are, that means that the Muslim men are down here, because they make their woman cover up because the men can't control themselves. See, in America, we let the women do whatever they want because men can control themselves. So for you to say that the woman has to cover up and that's a reflection on you, Muslim men. That ain't a reflection on the woman. That's a reflection on your inability to control yourself. So in other words, your flesh body is still running everything. I don't care what religion you are. Now you got to get your heads around that and get yourselves together and join the rest of the human race. Okay? Because again, I'm going to say this repeatedly. If you treat that which brings life into existence barbarically and cut off their human rights and make them walk behind you, that which brings life into the world, which is the closest thing to God, and you got them walking behind you, that says something about you. I don't care what nobody say. You got a problem. And until you Muslims, and I'm not cutting no corners on nobody, that's a reflection on your civilized behavior, your level of civilized evolution. That puts you back. I'm sorry. You still running around hacking people up with machetes because they don't do what the man says, and he's bringing shame on our family because she wants to marry somebody that she loves, not somebody that you dictated. Y'all got a lot of work to do. That's why I say these religions, see, you barbarians, you hiding behind religions. But you cats, you are not much better than these Confederate. You call them with your Sharia law. You ain't no better than these Confederates right here in the United States. They telling their woman, they're going to tell her when she should open her legs and that when she got to have a baby. Y'all are all, I put all y'all in the same bag. You're barbarians. You're down here on the scale where the rest of the world is over here. Okay? And right now the battle, and see, let me tell you something. This trajectory right here, that's God. And I already warned you, when you mess with the trajectory of God, which is evolution to be better, you get in the way of that. And I'm going to tell you, triggering, and it's not me. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. You are triggering the automatic law enforcement system. There are going to be human beings born to rip your whole game apart. And you know where it's going to come? From the ranks of men in your very society. And you can fight it all you want, but I want you to man up and face the fact that every time you going against these young people that are coming up telling you this is wrong, you're boxing with God. And I'm going to tell you something else. The young people are the future. And if you don't support that, you're a fool. If you don't embrace change, you're a fool. Because change is the order and this is God's will. Now y'all claim to be so much loving God and all this stuff. Your actions say the exact opposite. What you love is your power. Your control over your woman. Your control over everything in your society. That's what these ISIS people are. They're barbarians. They just want to control, keep everybody under their thumb so they can tell you what to do, tell you what to wear, tell you where to go, tell you how to deal with your woman. And at the same time, they're raping women who are of a different religious culture than they are. So their moral compass is in the gutter. And that's why God is going to mow their behinds down. And there's no way around it. You can't escape the will of God, baby. And once you trigger the automatic law enforcement agency, oh, you ain't going to be able to hide from them. You're going to get wiped out because you're messing with the forward motion of God. Now, I'm just warning you. I feel sorry for you. Because if you don't understand the law, then you are subject to feel. I used to tell my son that those who will not listen will feel the wrath of the law enforcement. And it ain't God doing nothing to you. It's the law enforcement part that God has put into motion. See, this is what my whole lesson thing is about. I'm trying to teach y'all folks, this is the order that you were born into. And certain behavior that goes against the forward motion of God, you're triggering the automatic system. That's going to take you out. They ain't picking on you. You picking on you because you hard-headed, you bull-headed, you refuse to accept the will of God. And the will of God is change, becoming better, becoming more perfect. That's the momentum that was set in motion by God trillions and gazillion years ago. Okay, moving right along. Back to what I was saying. So we're in the process of making sausage here, folks. Keep that in mind. So the fact that you did not know about the level of detail and structure that I'm teaching in my video lessons here, and what Charles Hannell is teaching in his video lessons, and what the Rosicrucians have been teaching in their video lessons, and what all of us are doing here, you know, that have taught Rhonda Burns, Eddie Coronado, Neville Goddard, all these people that are, all of them have done what I am doing now. It's just my turn this time. And I'm reaching a whole different segment of the society. I'm reaching basically young people and all people in general, but mainly I'm trying to speak to young people of color who have been cut off and denied the right to even read for 400 years. Okay? So, and that in and of itself does something to the human spirit, okay, that causes the microcosmic spirit of an entire group of people. Yes, we are a new people as African Americans, and that is a wonderful thing. With all of our abilities, athletic abilities, all of our musical talents, all of our artistic abilities on all kinds of different levels, and uniqueness that we bring to the entire stage of life that come out of the horrendous enslavement process, and then another 100 years of segregation legalized by the government, enforced by the government. That's traumatic. We just came out of that. I was born into segregation, so we just came out of segregation. I'm 62. It didn't come in until 1965. By the time that happened, hell, I was already 8, 9 years old. So you got to take 8, 9 years away from my 63. That puts us at like something like what, my math is a wee bit off here, but we talking 55. That's only 55 years. You can't undo 400 years. And we still not even finished with the segregation part yet. You still got like economic segregation that you have instituted and oppressed onto people of color in America. So don't give me this crap about America's all that great. When it comes to certain things, America is rock bottom. When it comes to education, healthcare, America is down on the rock bottom. So that thing in the White House that talk about making somebody great, you gotta totally ignore his dumb, because that kind of dumb, ooh, folks, listen, you gotta totally cut him off, because while you wasting time listening to that dumb, you falling behind. Because Europe, Germany, Holland, Scandinavia, Canada, England, America, great? Are you kidding me? Now that thing is in office, it's even worse. I mean, you ain't got no hope of being great now because you got that thing in the office. He gonna set us back 8 years. As long as you got him in there, we going backwards. He Republican. They don't believe in going forward. They only believe in going backwards. They'll tell you that. Ask them. They say we conservative. What you ask them? What are you conserving? We conserving the old ways. Ask them. Oh, it was better back when black people were slaves. It was better, they say. You even got one governor somewhere over in Kentucky, Tennessee, some crazy place, talking about we're gonna have to shed some blood as conservatives. Shed some blood. This is 2019, folks, that this man said this. A Republican, Confederate Republican. They ain't no regular Republican. They're Confederate. This is a whole new breed of dumb. Okay? And they're going out. They're on their way out, so they're fighting even harder now because they know the next generation is look at them like what the hell is wrong with them? And I'm talking about their own very kids are saying this to them. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? So they know they're on their way out. They're scrapping, and they're going to fail. Going against the will of God. They're going to fail. Just like the ISIS and these Muslims telling women to cover up this so all you can barely see is their eyes. God made women beautiful. You think he made, and like I said, you can't even see yourself unless you look in the mirror. So who you think God made women beautiful for? For the birds to look at? For the ants to look at? For the dog? Oh, the dogs are supposed to look at them. Okay, moving right along. So he goes on to say, like I said, he said, it is mind which overcomes environment and every other obstacle in the path of people. Okay, which again, what he's saying is believing is seeing. So as you convince this mind to believe, the longer it takes you to do that, the obstacles will continue. Okay, excuse me. Then he goes on to say, results cannot be achieved without proper application, diligence, and concentration. You know what that means? What I said is, I've now told you that you have the power. You've been authorized by God at birth. You're the only mind in existence that can conjure up and create beliefs so solid and so strong that it automatically triggers the subconscious machine to start manufacturing stuff. And that means moving, when I say moving heaven and earth, that means moving atmospheric, physical stuff, and heaven is people, both animate and inanimate things. Lottery is an inanimate, random situation, and that's where if you look at, I really implore you to please just do some superficial study of quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is the science of the transition from thought into physical manifestation. It's the study of that transition. That's what it is. Okay, quantum mechanics. Just do some superficial reading. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's the transition. So if you have something that is random, random things are the easiest things to influence. That's why I picked the lottery system. And another reason why I picked the lottery system, because it's a susu concept. In other words, all the people in a particular state in a particular country have pooled their monies together. And I love being a part of things where people are working together. That's why I see all these Christians and whatnot talk about, oh, you're gambling. Huh? You are concerned about gambling? That's the least you need to be concerned about, is some gambling. You got many, many more problems that you need to really deal with. Gambling ain't one of them. But because if anytime you're working together and you're networking, you're pooling your funds together, that's lottery, baby. And I'm 100% behind that. I don't care what nobody say. All right. So, but again, it's a random system. So in a random scenario, that's when the power of the human mind can get to work. And you're not attracting anything illegal to you. Everybody in the system is doing the same thing. The only difference is some of them are successful and most people are not. All right. So you just got to do your meditations. You got to do your practice. You got to do the work. And again, since we're making sausage and we're just starting out, it's trial and error. That's why I told you, don't be hard on yourself. You just found out about this. You got to get to work. You can't expect, now, unless you're one of these extraordinary people who are born with an innate intuitive gift, like a Whitney Houston, who a Usain Bolt, these people just born runners. This man didn't have to train to be a runner. He just had the muscle structure and the skeletal structure, and it just worked. Right off the bat, he didn't have to do no work. Now, if you're one of them, you're going to take this, tomorrow, next month, boom, you'll start producing, bam, boom, bam. That's the way it's going to happen. That's the way it's going to happen. Okay? I've got to get rid of this doggone. Let me see if I can get rid of this. Oh, damn it. It's on the other screen. Okay, that's the way it's going to happen. So, get to work. That's what this says. Results cannot be achieved without proper application, diligence, and concentration. That means do your meditations morning and night. During the day, while you doing something, go ahead, go there. Be there. Already have what you're thinking about. Already see yourself having it already. Go there as much as possible. It's a beautiful place to go anyway, because it's always better than where you are right now anyway. No, well, in my case, it's not. It is, but I'm so happy where I am right now. It's just easier for me to do it, But I've already paid my dues. I'm 63. You don't want to know what I've been through. Believe you me when I tell you, I have paid my dues. I earned every millisecond of my freedom and joy that I'm having right now. Believe that. You don't want to compare work with anybody. I toe to toe with anybody. You want to compare work? Anyway, okay, and then he goes on to say, the student who learns that power comes, the student who learns that power comes from within, and that he is weak because he depends on help from outside. Again, this speaks to the difference between seeing is believing. Seeing is what is on the outside, and then you believe that something is real, but it don't get you nothing. That's an exercise in what they call an exercise in futility. In other words, it's futile. It has no benefit whatsoever. The exercise of focus on learning how to control your beliefs, which come from within, that impact, and then everything is manifested from there out, and it impacts the subconscious machine. Oh yeah, that's where you need to be, and that's what this speaks to. The student who learns that power comes from within, and that he is weak because he depends on help from outside, which means looking at things after the, yeah. And his strength flows from unhesitatingly throwing himself on his own thought. Okay? Instantly rights himself, stands erect, chest out, shoulders back, head up. Okay? Assumes a dominant attitude and works miracles. In other words, I have no doubt. Chest out, shoulders back, head up, because now you know what you're doing is right. And no doubt, no equivocating, and no, you ain't even think about it. Okay? Because it's pure, raw, unbridled belief. And you get there through practice, step by step, little by little. Okay? He goes on to say, unfortunately, mind creates negative conditions just as readily as favorable conditions. We know that. Like I said, if you focus on, it could say, I want to hit the lottery, then you're focusing on wanting. And so if you keep focusing on wanting, all you're going to get is a whole lot of wanting and no lotto. No lottery. Because you're focusing on wanting to hit the lottery. That's not, no, you got to focus. I already hit the lottery. I already have $230 million. This is how it feels to have 30. Oh, done deal. You're working on mastering the belief and supporting and building the belief and living the belief. To know truth is to live truth. So if you want it to be true that you are a multimillionaire, then you have to go and live it and believe it's real. And every second and every minute you spend doing that, the subconscious mind is getting busy. The clearer your visions are, the faster the subconscious mind is working. And that brings me to another point. The subconscious mind, like the microcosmic essence of you as a microcosmic being living in the glove of a human body that feels everything for the first time in existence. Is the only thing in existence that can allow the undefined and that which has no mind and no feelings to experience the feelings through the sensor of the microcosmic sensor that is picking up feelings from being connected and combined with the human being team. But it's the human body that picks up on everything. Remember, in The Day the Earth Stood Still, Keanu Reeves, the character, which his name was Klaatu. Okay, the character's name was Klaatu. They asked him, they say, do you feel any pain? He says, no, my body does. I do not feel pain. My body feels pain. So he made a clear distinction. I am riding in this body. See? They're telling you, they're teaching you. But if a lot of people heard that, they went right over there. What the hell is that boy talking about? It's just you don't have the brain cells to really get it. You're not ready yet. But those of us that were ready honed right in on God. He said, wow, okay, more validation of what I already was intuitively getting. My mind, something in my spirit was telling me there's something going on here. Yeah. So, okay, this validates that again. And he says, unfortunately, again, he says, mind creates negative conditions just as readily as favorable conditions. And when we consciously or unconsciously visualize every kind of lack, limitation, and discord, we create these conditions. Okay, and this is what many are unconsciously doing all the time. That goes back to what Eckhart Tolle was talking about, saying the problem with most people's mind is they don't know how to stop thinking. You will learn how to stop thinking by practice. Before you can stop thinking altogether, you have to first change your thinking. Practice changing your thinking. Every time it goes off in a direction you want, pull it back and put it over here. It's going to do it again. You pull it back and go back over here again. And say, okay, that's all right, mind. Very good. Okay, take it easy. Very good. Now, come on, let's go over here. Nice. Okay, yeah. Oh, you want to go? Yeah. It's like your pet. Like I said, this is your pet. What do you do when your dog start going off, or a cat? Get over here. Come, no, this is where I want. Let's go over here. It's just, it's I'm oversimplifying it, but it really is that simple. I'm not oversimplifying. I'm just trying to give you a comparative situation where you can understand how you have to. I'm doing. Listen, folks, it don't get no more granular than what I'm giving you. I'm telling you, I'm going into the actual scenarios and I'm telling you how to do it. You can be very creative on how you do this with yourself. That's your vehicle. This is my flesh vehicle. I do what I want to do with this. God set this up. God do what he want to do with you. He set it up. He didn't ask permission. This is God's will. You got to get in there. Now, listen, we're way beyond questioning, well, why or no, God really did. Never mind all that. You're wasting time. Get into mastering and getting along with this. See, because this is housing this. And whatever you got to do to get this, you got to be by any means necessary. Get control of the beliefs that flow into this. This is a direct connection to the subconscious. And the point I was going to make before is that God is omnipotent, okay, which means has unlimited power. The subconscious mind is omnipotent. It has unlimited power. And the subconscious mind is everywhere all the time at the same time. And that means time don't exist for it. Time is an illusion that was created for the conscious mind, which is directly connected to this flesh. And the microcosmic being is experiencing and feeling consciousness, because the microcosmic mind actually is a subconscious, unconscious thing. It is only experiencing consciousness through this thing here, this flesh body vehicle. Microcosmic is like a puppet, a hand inside a puppet. Oh, wow, I can feel the wood of the puppet. Oh, I'm now experiencing light and dark, and that's God, the subconscious, the consciousness of God putting itself into some microscopic, it finally could mash itself down into something so small that it can actually start to feel something. That's the analogy I'm trying to draw for you. That's really what's going on here. This is my concept, but I really believe this is what's going on here. Okay? Things have to come down to a certain point where they can work. That's why I said God is too big. You're too big. You can't put your head around God. It's too big. You can stand still for maybe a microsecond, and you can feel the totality and the oneness of all things. Micro, because you're a micro. So all you can feel is a micro nanite second of the totality. But you can do that because you are it. You can't never be cut off from yourself. You cannot. Don't let nobody. And again, the point I was trying to make, I don't want to get too far off track, is You're dealing with a infinite thing where time doesn't exist. So once you get your belief together and that subconscious picks it up, you can't say how long it's going to take. The only thing that might slow it down is the other thing that we talked about and that I explained to you. The cycle of manifestation. If you sow the seed at the wrong part of the cycle, it may slow it down. But if you have a genetic predisposition built into this body that makes you extraordinary in the area of mental capacity, then you may be able to overcome even the cycle of manifestation. So I say all of that to say we're making sausage. So there is no absolutes. These rules and laws are governing the basic structure and operation of existence. Basic. But extraordinary is not basic. Extraordinary can override. And that is just another expression of the magnitude of God. God is omnipotent, is capable of anything. And every now and again, there's going to be an extraordinary that's bubbling up out of the expression of man, of humanness, toward more perfect, more extraordinary, more like God. In other words, we're coming in as totally the opposite of God and moving right back toward being God. And once we get there, we're thrust right back into, and this is the cycle. So every now and again, you're going to see an extraordinary. You could be one of them. We're making sausage here. And we're like a volcano. Things are bubbling up, and every now and again, there's an extraordinary that comes out. Vast majority of us will be under the laws that govern manifestation. Okay? But every now and again, there could be what I call an outlier. An extraordinary person, beyond ordinary. Vast majority of us will be ordinary. 99.9% of us will be ordinary, but there's always that one, and you could be it. You'll know who you are when you are it. But what I say to you is when you discover you are it, don't panic. Love yourself, embrace your power, and be very strategic and careful about who you expose yourself to. Okay? Your survival may hinge on that, you know. And do the best you can and don't worry about the rest. And don't worry, if you lose your body, you'll come right back. That's how it is. Okay? So I want to keep putting these plugs in so that when you move up and as you're going through the learning process and you're making mistakes, I don't want you to get discouraged. Or you're going to make a whole goo gobs of mistakes. That comes with the process, because like I say, most of us are average. Okay? Most of us are ordinary. Okay? And we will have to follow the cycle of manifestation. You wait till September come, whatever you don't get accomplished, you haven't seen manifest between March and August, then therefore you got to start, do it again. Again. Repeat, incessant. Never, ever give up, ever. Only time you give up is when your vehicle dies. Then you say, okay, hell, I got to start again in the next life. This is the game we're in. Have fun. But I'm going to go back and talk about something else too. I want to be very, I know I was a little tough on, the religions a little while ago, and I'm always tough on Christianity because I'm a Christian. I'm very, I don't want people to misunderstand me. See, people misunderstand me. And I really want to clear this up. Part of my frustration And my enthusiasm that you see that appears to be anger, it's not anger. That's my enthusiasm because I realize what's going on. Okay? And two things I don't like. I don't like this rumor mill that comes around about two things: God and Jesus Christ. We have now created, you have, not me, because I'm not buying into it. I was born into it, but I don't buy into it. And I think if Jesus could come back, if he ever could, which can't happen, you know, you know, he would come back and say, I ain't never told y'all to create no religion about me. He would tell you, and he did say, he said, it is he that is within me that is great. So conversely, don't get into me. Get into he that is within me, and the same thing is in you. That's all Christ was trying to teach people. They killed him for that. Like I tell you, they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to be free. They don't want you to know your power to make manifest anything you want by following the cycle of manifestation. They know you are directly connected to God. They know it. Okay? So what do? They create a heaven and a hell lie. Distract you, keep you looking at that. So the point I was going to try to make is that, don't get me wrong. I'll give Christian religion a little bit of a pass, because the Christian religion still is based on a strong concept of building your belief. And again, I don't care how you get there. The subconscious mind don't care how you get to master the art of believing that you got something. What I don't like about the Christian philosophy and this quote unquote religion that they created in the name of Christ, which I think he would be highly insulted if he came back and found out, instead of you creating a religion, calling it God, you should have called it Godianity. Because now you're worshiping God, not Christ. Call it Godianity. If you'd have named it that, Christ would come back and say, okay, y'all got my point. It wasn't about me. It's about God. So you created a religion called Godianity. Okay, good. All right. So the point I'm trying to make here, I want to go back to something, is, so if it doesn't matter how you get to the promised land of believing, mastering, controlling your beliefs, don't matter how you get there. All right, so if you want to believe that, see, the reason it works for Christians is because they believe. Jim Jones, the people he took out there, he said, believe me, just believe, trust me, believe. And a lot of them believed, and that's why they got on the plane and went out there, because they believed and managed to move heaven and hell to get the money together, because to go out there with him, because they believed. It's like that thing in the White House plan. They said, believe me. First thing they want you to do is, see, they want to control your beliefs, not for you, but for them. They want you to believe in their game. See, and that further validates the power of belief. They know if they could get 100 people to believe, you can manipulate enough quantum energy to make manifest what they want. Not what you want, what they want. They got you buying into their game. That's what I don't like about the Christian church. You got too many con men masquerading as pastors and deacons and all these other titles and whatnot. Instead of them empowering you, they got you believing in what they want. want you to believe in, instead of you believing in what you want to believe, or believe in what you want to create for you and your family and your people. See, if they taught you that, if they said, forget about this heaven and hell stuff, ain't no such thing. But what is real is your power, each and every one of you. If you can control and learn to master your beliefs, you can move heaven and earth to get whatever you want. And now I'm done. I'll see you later. I'll come back next week. Y'all let me know what y'all were able to accomplish for your families and for yourselves. If they did that, I'd say, yeah. Get into that guardianity. Guardianity is all right. Because it's worshiping God. And we're thankful for guardianity. We worship God. We worship that God has set up all of this structure and all of this order with all these laws and subconscious machine that automatically manufactures whatever we believe. If you were teaching that, I will be 100% supportive of you. The only thing I support is each individual being empowered to control their beliefs for themselves, and a moral center that is based on appreciation for life and equal rights for everybody. Food, water, clothing, housing, healthcare, education, transportation. You cover these bases, if these elements of existence and human rights are built and supported by whatever you're doing, I support you. But I will never, ever allow you to make me force me or trick me or scare me or terrorize me to join you, because if I don't, then I'm going to hell. And God is going to be angry. See, when you stop all that, when I hear these pastors stop saying that and start saying, you know what, I don't know about, Christ was a great prophet, but I'm into guardianity. The day I see that, boy, you're going to hear me, and you're going to hear me jumping for joy just when I'm talking about all the things that God is doing. I'll be jumping just as much as you people jumping about Christ. Talking about, ooh, thank you, Lord. I'm going to say, Christ, listen, I'm going to uphold what you were trying to teach us on the Sermon on the Mount. Worship God. Love ye one another. Be your brother's keeper. Use your power of your mind in order to learn how to fish for yourself. He didn't come and give you a bunch of fish. No, he made you fishers of men, which they twisted the whole thing. In other words, he was meant to teach everybody how to fish for themselves. That's what the sermon, that's what he taught. He didn't take no loaf of bread, no fish, and fed nobody. You're twisting it. See, that's what ticks me off, is the twisting of the truth. To buy and to feed more into this lie about a heaven and a hell. And you don't have the power. God does it. Christ does it. The pastor have to help you get to Christ so Christ can do it for you. No. Stop telling them lies. Everybody got the power right here. Charles Hannell is talking about it. He said, it is mind which overcomes environment and every other obstacle in the path of people. That mind that he talking about, God gave you that. God set all of this up. Not Christ. God. Let's give credit to where credit is due. And that's what Christ said. It is he that is within me that is greater. Giving credit where credit was due. And everybody trying to put it on crack. They want a Messiah, something they can kill, and then say, oh, we're going to worship the memory of him. Not going to listen to what he said and take charge and be responsible for whatever hell that goes wrong. Is your fault because you didn't get this together as he was trying to teach you. Learn how to fish for yourself. Anyway, I just want to clarify that. Muslims, y'all got a whole bunch of, y'all just making shit up out of whole. y'all just made shit. I heard about some, and then you got the Shiite and the Islam and the who, what, and the, oh, please, folks. Oh, God. You got the Catholics, you got the Episcopals, you got all of this different stuff, and you got the Shiite and the Sunni and the, oh, but we're making sausage, folks. We're making sausage. So you're going to get a whole lot of dumb and a whole lot of stupid for quite a while. But my job is to cut like a laser through all of that crap and lay it out. And after me, there's going to be somebody else who's going to lay it out. And after that person, going to be somebody else going to lay it out. And God is behind this because it's called evolution. You can't stop this. Can't stop it. And if I have to criticize the wrongs so to at least make people think, they don't even have to believe me. You know? But at least make people think. Again, unfortunately, mind creates negative conditions just as readily as favorable conditions. And when we consciously or unconsciously visualize every kind of lack, limitation, discord, or create these conditions, this is what many are unconsciously doing all the time. Okay? Again, you think want, you get want. Moving right along. This law is no respecter of personalities. In other words, like I said, the subconscious mind don't care. Don't care if you're grateful. You care if you're grateful. Because you believe your gratitude is making the subconscious mind do better for you. Okay. Whatever it takes for you to believe, okay. Go for it. By any means necessary. At this point, we're making sausage. So we got to be kind of brutal. All right. There's some of us that are very sophisticated and refined. And as the human being combination evolves over thousands of millions and trillions of years, pretty soon we may be that energy that Klaatu was, who came down to Earth on the day the Earth stood still. Maybe we too will evolve. Of course we will. And see, they're showing you where we can evolve to. And this has been shown in multiple movies. Star Wars at the end, Yoda, Luke, and Obi-Wan Kenobi all just disappeared. They evolved into the next level of human, not human, but of microcosmic evolution. Pretty soon the microcosm will not need a flesh body. Pretty soon we may not need that. We're going to evolve beyond this flesh body thing, folks. Unlimited potential. Unlimited means unlimited potential. Look it up. Get your heads around this, okay? Oh, Jesus, let me see how much time, because I get off on these tangents and I never realize how much time I'm going. Oh, no. Oh, God. Is that 90 minutes? Oh, 59. Okay, thank God. Okay, folks, I'm going to continue this in the next movie. I'm going to cut this off. I'm sorry I went off on a tangent on it, and we'll pick it up on the next movie. One love.